Hello, this is Christy, the Barefoot Gardener. It's kind of cold and icky outside though. A perfect day for homemade tortillas. There are a few things you want to do before you start. One of them is to get some water boiling, whether it's a teapot or just put some on the stovetop. You can get about 3 or 4 cups of water. You probably won't use that much. You'll want to get your griddle heated up. I go to about medium on both sides. And it needs to be nice and hot to get this tortillas cooked well. And if you're grinding your own flour, you'll want to get that done. Yeah, I take cooking to scratch to a whole new level. Now when you see how easy this is, you're never going to buy those store-bought tortillas again. We're going to start with our flour. We're going to use 3 cups. And the flour that I ground was the soft white wheat, and there's probably a little bit of red wheat in there too, just because that was what was in the container beforehand. I'm going to put in about a half a tablespoon of salt, maybe a little more. Some people like to put in baking powder. You can experiment with it if you want by putting in like a half a tablespoon or so. And then I have a friend who uses Crisco here, or some other kind of shortening. I have friends who use butter. We try to stay with vegan, so we use the Earth Balance. And we're going to use a half a cup of Earth Balance. Alright, and then once we get that Earth Balance in there, or whatever it is that you're using for the oils, I've even used olive oil and it works pretty good, pretty well. So we're going to just cut that into the flour, and you can use a pastry cutter if you want. I like doing it the old-fashioned way with my fingers. And we're going to get it to the consistency of like pea consistency, little green peas. As a rule, I start with about a cup of the boiling water. And of course I can't use my hands in that. So, and this is kind of one of the tricks that I learned by using the boiling water. It makes them a little different. So, that's stirred in. And of course it's going to need a little bit more, but we want it to be a nice, smooth, elastic dough when it's finished. This is another half a cup. I actually don't usually measure, so it's kind of experimental for me. Alright, should have done a 1/4 cup there. I'm going to have to add more flour. So this feels like a really nice dough. It's smooth and it's elastic, and so from here we're going to pinch off balls of dough about the size of a ping pong ball, maybe a little larger, depends on how big you like your tortillas and how big your griddle is. So I just start from a smooth surface and pinch them off. Floured surface, we're going to take our dough ball. Just kind of roll it out. So I can almost see, well, I can see the cutting board lines through the tortilla. So this is about as thin as I want to go with it. And we're going to take it over to the griddle. So I'm putting your tortilla on the griddle. It should have been nice and heated up by the time you get it on there. And you're only going to leave it on there for about maybe 10 seconds before you flip it over, because it's one of the secrets. Oh, I bent it there. I don't suggest using your fingers. I just have Like Martha Stewart once said, asbestos hands here. So then it's just going to start to cook, and you leave it on each side for just 30 seconds or so. It really doesn't take that long to start cooking and browning. If any of the bubbles start to get out of control, you can just take your towel and kind of squish them down. Starting to get the nice golden spots on it, both sides on that one. And just keep the train going. The fun thing about tortillas is it can become a family affair. You guys having fun?
Yeah.
Good job, Danny. Nice job, Enoch. So here's the finished product. With that batch, we made about 24 tortillas, which is about normal, 20 to 24 tortillas. If you freeze them, you might want to lay them out separate just to let them not stick to each other for about 10 minutes before you put them in a bag or whatever you're going to freeze them in. This is Christy, the Barefoot Gardener, in my kitchen. Till next time.